Welcome back to Let's Play Out of the Park Baseball 22 with our beloved Texas Rangers. Well, beloved, I don't know. We're trying to love them for sure. They are 41 and 49 at the AllStar break, which is actually good for third in the not so competitive this year AL West. Houston has taken a pretty commanding lead. But yeah, we're going to be drafting today. That's the big news. Today's draft day, and it's especially a big deal for a team like the Rangers because we have the number 2 overall pick in this draft. The only team picking ahead of us is the Pittsburgh Pirates. So this could be potentially a franchise-altering day. So let's get to it. So this is generally how I set up my draft screen right here. I like to add in the work ethic and intelligence. The reason is that these two right here, personality traits, they can actually have a pretty big impact on how well a player develops and meets their full potential. So we're just looking here. Pirates have not picked yet. We're just looking at the board. Jordan Lawler obviously stands out. In real life, he has a very good chance to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft later this summer. As far as the other batters go, I'm looking at some of these guys that have high work ethic. Adrian Del Castillo, I drafted in a save. He hadn't made the majors yet, but he was looking like he could be one of the best prospects. The only kind of bummer about him is that he's not a stud defensive catcher, but he has potential to be a stud offensive catcher for sure. Sal Frelick looks really, really good according to my scout. I mean, this guy, he can play, a corner outfield spot really well, and he can hit. He's kind of reminiscent of maybe even like Trammell or someone like that. I'm trying to think of who would be the comp. But he's definitely an interesting player. And with that high work ethic, and that speed, he's tooled up. If that power develops more, he would be like a superstar. So, and then as far as the pitchers go, I'm sure you're familiar with some of the names. Jack Leiter, was making huge waves this year at Vanderbilt. And he looks really nasty. Kumar Rocker, also at Vanderbilt. I'm a little bit more skeptical on him just because you would really need this changeup to develop, hopefully to like at least a 55 or a 60. And so, yeah, I would say I would probably, at this point, just looking at them, draft Leiter ahead of Rocker. And then I'll also take a look at Ty Madden here. Ty Madden looks like he could be, very much in the mix as well. I would maybe put Madden ahead of Rocker and maybe around the same level as Leiter. So I'm not sure who exactly it is I want to draft, just, given what we've looked at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sim ahead until our pick, and we're going to see who Pittsburgh drafts, and maybe that'll make it just a little bit easier for us. Okay, so Pittsburgh's gone with Lawler. I think it's a perfectly fine pick. I think he's a really good player. However, I'm not sure if he's who I would have picked, so I'll put it that way. So Leiter is definitely towards the top of my board. I think he's really good. But I also really like Madden. Madden, that control needs to develop quite a bit more. And there would be questions about the repertoire potentially as well. But that 65 fastball up to a 70. The other thing about Madden is that his bonus demand is $5 million, whereas with like Rocker and Leiter, it's $9 million and $8 million. So that stands out too. And then I still don't really want to like discount, Del Castillo or Sal Frelick, because I like them a lot as well. This is a tough one. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for... Do I go for Leiter? Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to go for Leiter. I feel like he's kind of the safest pick. He's a college arm. And we have quite a bit of budget in our draft. So I'm going to draft Jack Leiter with the 2nd overall pick in the draft. Again, the only thing is that normal work ethic, normal intelligence, but I mean, he's crazy talented, so we're going to go for him. as our second overall pick in the draft. So there you go. Jack Leiter, welcome to the Texas Rangers. And by the way, that very well may happen in real life. That very well may be Jordan Lawler drafted first, and then Jack Leiter going second to Texas. That may be how this actual draft goes later this summer. All right, we're on to the second round here, and the pickings are a lot more slim. Hate to say it, but I think I'm going to go with a Mr. Dalen Lyle here. I think Dalen Lyle is going to be my pick. I was also laughing about this guy named Max Muncy. You know, it's hard not to be tempted by that, but I guess this is very much a real player, so that there's a Max Muncy coming up, class of 2021. So congratulations to Max Muncy. You know, if your name is any indication, you're going to be a pretty great player. But Dalen Lyle, I think, is who I'm going to go for here in the second round. I think he's the best player. Again, he doesn't have that personality you look for, but it's at a certain point you have to let the talent overcome that, and that's why we picked, Jack Leiter ahead of some of those hitters we were looking at. And then OSA thinks he's like a superstar, which I think is cool. My head scout does not think he's a superstar, but he does very much look like potentially a serviceable starter in a corner outfield spot. So I think that's who I'm going to go for here is Dalen Lyle in the second round. So that's my pick. All right, here in the third round, I'm thinking I might just splash some cash on Steven Hajar. I don't know if that's Hajar, if that's Hajar or something like that. He's a pitcher for the University of Michigan. He has some pretty good attributes here, as you can see. And to get him in the third round would be big. It is going to cost us, quite a bit in terms of demand. He's going to be over slot signing for sure. But our second round pick, Dalen Lyle, was under slot, so this may be able to balance out for it. And we have a really big draft budget, so we can pick him. And honestly, if we just decide we don't want him, we'll still get compensated for this pick later. So I'm going to go for Steven Hajar. And hopefully he can join the ranks of with Jack Leiter as another good college arm for us. All right, cool. Here in the fourth round, Kevin Abel standing out to me. Now we can finally get someone with high work ethic or intelligence. Max Muncy is also still on the board, but his signability isn't great for us, and it's kind of the same thing. This guy, Isaac Pacheco, is super talented, but it's kind of the same thing with him. So we're going to go for Kevin Abel, another college pitcher, this time out of Oregon State. Again, the attributes aren't crazy with him, but he does have that high intelligence, so he may be able to overachieve on that. So we're going to go for that. Kevin Abel, welcome to Texas. All right, for my fifth pick, which is the last pick I'm going to show on screen, I'm going to do like 10 more rounds maybe off screen. But for my fifth round pick, I'm going to go with Grant Hussey because he has the best home run power left on the board, and it's really that simple. At this point, you're looking for someone who's good at something. Grant Hussey can hit home runs, so we're going to go for him, I think. And that's gonna cap off the draft in terms of this video. However, I'm gonna do 10 or 15 more rounds off screen. So I guess I'll do 10 more rounds off screen. All right. So I'll see you guys at the draft bonus negotiations. All right, cool. So we're here ready to negotiate with our draftees that we just picked. And by the way, I went through exactly 20 rounds of drafting. So if anyone in the first 20 rounds that we picked turns out good, that was on me. And then if anyone beyond that, that was the CPU. So I did the first 20 rounds. Here's the first 5 guys we picked, though. Leiter, Dalen Lyle, Steven Hajar, Kevin Abel, Grant Hussey. So those are our guys. Let's go ahead and negotiate with them. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it easy. I'm just going to meet their demand. I'm an affable guy, and we have plenty of draft budget. So there you go, Jack Leiter. I could nickel and dime some, but let's just meet their demand. Welcome to the team. We're going over slot there. We knew that. All right, so those offers have been sent, and all those players will join us. Ryan Ginther wants 500K as a 10th rounder, though. Was he good? Did I like him that much? Yeah, you know what? You can have it. You can have more than our 5th rounder. Whatever, man. It's a free country. All right, so that's going to be it for draft negotiations and the draft. Next time we see those guys, they will not be draft picks. They will be prospects for us. So that's exciting. Looks like the National League was able to defeat the American League in a tight All-Star game. Fernando Tatis Jr. was named All-Star Game MVP, so congratulations to him. As we kick off the second half of the season, one big storyline is definitely going to be Kyle Gibson. Kyle Gibson is pitching very well for us at a high volume, and hopefully it can continue, but the question is, with his contract being what it is, do we trade him for prospects at some point during the second half of this season? I'm actually going to start shopping around now, and we'll see what we can do, but the trade deadline isn't for another month and a half, so that'll be something to monitor as we go into the second half of the season. How well does Kyle Gibson pitch, and also how attractive is he as a potential trade piece? Taylor Widener is back from his injury, so he will re-enter the rotation. That's going to bump Hyunjung Yang back to long relief, and that bumped, in this case, Taylor Hearn back to AAA Round Rock. So that's your update on the pitching. We have played 3 games in the second half, and we lost all of them. So we got swept by Toronto. Hopefully we'll get back on track at Detroit. Hey, remember when I said the trade deadline was in a month and a half? I said that because I'm an idiot, and I'm a big fat dum-dum. I have a very smooth brain. You have to keep that in mind. My brain has no wrinkles. It is very smooth. So the trade deadline is not August. That's the waiver trade deadline, but July 31st is the trade deadline. I knew that. I just was not using my brain because, again, as I said, smooth, very little wrinkles in my brain. So Gibson got himself shelled on the 22nd, but he had a good start on the 27th, so I'm going to shop him around just a little bit, see if there's any interest here for him at the trade deadline. If not, he'll stick with the team for the rest of the season. All right, I have found us a trade deadline trade, which is the best kind of trade. Kyle Gibson and Hans Kraus will be going to the Braves. Gibson, we know what his deal is right now. Hans Kraus is one of the better prospects that we have, at least in terms of pitching. However, this movement and movement potential at 35, to me, is bordering on unusable. However, he's having an excellent season so far at High A with the Hickory Crawdads. He made the All-Star game down there. So we're going to go ahead and send him on, kind of sell high. In return, we'll get Drew Smiley as one. He's pitched terribly for the Braves in the save. He's on a 1-year deal, as many of you know. So he may just get cut by me, honestly, I think is what I'll do. And so Atlanta's just kind of happy to dump his salary in some ways. And it does balance out the financials of this trade pretty well. Tyler Matzek is someone who I will not want to be dumping. He's a really good reliever. I think in real life, in my opinion, as a Braves fan, I think Tyler Matzek is the best reliever on the Braves. I'm not sure if the Braves themselves have realized that, but I do like him. He's walking 7 per 9 at the major league level, so I'm not sure how much confidence I have in him, in this save, but in real life, I love him. And then Kyle Wright is probably the biggest piece we're going to get in this trade. He's pitched well in Gwinnett all year, and we'll be able to probably just go ahead and put him in the rotation to take Kyle Wright's spot. That's my plan, at least. So we get another young pitcher, and that's sort of the main prize of this deal. So we're going to go ahead and make this trade. And we're going to be sending on Gibson. I did look into trading Rafael Montero as well, and I couldn't really find a deal that interested me. A good thing about this trade, by the way, is that we won't have to pay the $7 million in 2022, so that's going to free up money in free agency for us as well. So I've brought Kyle Wright into the rotation and Tyler Matzek in the bullpen. I've also decided to promote Zach Collins. He was hitting extremely well at the AAA level, as you can see. OPS over 1,000, 151 OPS plus. So I'm going to bring him up to the majors. I demoted Nate Lowe, who just, he hit well at AAA, but then when I brought him up to the majors, he couldn't make it happen. So I'm hoping that Zach Collins, who's on a hot streak, can make it happen, and we're going to start him at first base. So if hopefully he can be the answer there for the rest of the season, potentially. Chris Davis at DH has been, not great, but I mean, and still in some ways one of the better hitters on the team. So I'll give him that much. All right, it's August 10th, 2021, and we're going to do a prospect check-in right here. And there's already some, unfortunate news on your screen right now, but we're just going to go kind of in order based on what level these guys are at. So Acuna has a torn PCL. He'll be out 9 months. We started him in A-ball. He didn't do well. We put him back in rookie ball. He did better, but he is injured, so he's going to miss the rest of the year. Bayron Lora has hit really well in rookie ball. Again, this guy, his ratings don't really stand out to me in this game, but he is a big deal prospect in real life, so that's why I added him to this list. Yason Morabel, who made his rookie debut as a 17-year-old. I'd say he's held his own. I feel like I'm pretty okay with that. Evan Carter has done really, really well at rookie ball level. I think I'm just going to let him finish the year off there, and I imagine he will start in A-ball, but good for him. He was the second rounder in the 2020 draft. Grant Hussey, who we drafted in the 5th round, he's having kind of a weird start to his rookie ball campaign. He's walking a lot. He's walked 8 times in 12 games, but that's what he's got going on. Dalen Lyle is, been about a league average hitter on rookie ball. He's also 18. He's our 2nd round pick. Some potential there for sure. Jack Leiter, this is the big one. He has a 2-month injury, ulnar nerve entrapment, and that's basically going to end his first pro season early. He faced one batter. We drafted him 2nd overall. He faced one batter, and I'm hoping this won't have any long-term effects on his development. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. This happens sometimes. It's not really caused by injury, but a lot of times what you'll see is college pitchers get drafted and they don't make their pro debut until the following year. So that could be something that works out for us, but it's a huge bummer. I mean, you don't want to see you want to see Jack Leiter, tear up high A. You don't want to see him, miss basically a whole pro season, even if it's only a fraction of it. So that's that. Kevin Abel has been pitching in A-ball. I would say that it's been almost aggressive on my part, but I'd say he's held his own, so he's doing well there. Who else is in A? Zion Bannister is in A, not doing great. He's not a big prospect for us anyways, but when the season concludes, I'll definitely reassess who is and isn't still on this list, because some of these guys will get cut. Steven Hajar has pitched 3 games. Homers have been his main problem, but he's also at A-ball. He's our 3rd round pick. Not a lot can be drawn from that. We have Ronnie Henriquez, who's pitched this whole season at A-ball. He's only 21, and he's held his own. I think he's got a good chance to just start next season in high A. That's what I'll probably do. Josh Jung, I added to the list. He's hit well at Double A. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move him up to AAA, Round Rock. This guy's a pretty big prospect for the Rangers in real life, and I think he could very much, be in the running for 3rd base next year at the major league level. So good for him. Cal Raleigh, who's a big prospect we traded for at the time, his ratings have kind of normalized, actually, and now he's kind of back potentially to where we thought he could be, so that's good. As far as how he's hit at Double A, he's been fine, he's had a perfectly fine season. I don't feel the need to move him up to Triple A just yet, so I'm probably going to let him finish at Double A, and then I'll put him at Triple A next year will be the plan. But yeah, he could be a starting catcher on this team at some point. Drew Strotman, who I moved up to Double A, is going to finish the year in Double A. I still like him. I still feel like there's some potential there. He is getting older, though. He's almost 25. Avery Weems, who was acquired in the trade for Lance Lynn. He's pitched well at Double A, so I think I'm going to put him in Triple A. I don't consider him a huge major league prospect, but there you go. And then as far as Triple A goes, we've got a lot of guys there. Sherton Apostle has been at AAA. Vidal Brujan, who I promoted from AA last episode, put him in AAA. He's been, fine, not super by any means. So Yanni Hernandez has been pretty bad there. Josh Jung, we just promoted. And then you have Anderson Tejeda's played some in the majors. He's hit really well at AAA. Good for him. He could be in the running for a spot in the Major League roster, I imagine, next year. De Santana, who I traded for, has turned his season around. He was having just this awful year, but now his ratios are at least looking better. His ERA is still crazy high, but again, I think he's a guy that could be definitely hit in the majors sometime next year. And then Wyatt Mills, we've kind of moved back and forth. We most recently put him down into AAA to make room for Tyler Matzek. So that's what's going on with our prospects. I would say the Jack Leiter news is the biggest bad news, and the biggest good news is probably Cal Raleigh. So we'll see. Building up the farm system is something we're definitely focused on, and I'm curious to see if others will sort of just emerge throughout this year, and we'll go back and we'll redo our prospect list for next year and see who we want to keep track of that time around. So that's what I've got going on. August 10th, as you can see, we're third place by a hair in the AL West. All right, a few updates to the roster. We're in a real skid right now. We're 55 and 73, fourth place now, 28 games behind Houston. Hopefully we can finish the year strong, but here at the end of August, I've brought Belak back up for a long relief role. We sent him down to AAA Round Rock. I felt like he pitched pretty well, so we're going to bring him back up because Yang is injured, so I put him on the 15-day IL. Kyle Wright, who we traded for, has pitched well through his first 4 starts in the rotation for us, so that's good news. Another move I did is Charlie Culberson had been playing really poorly for us, and then he got hurt. So I did decide to bring up Anderson Tejeda, and he's going to get some games at the major league level. So that's my update on the roster. Hopefully we can finish the year strong. I would really like to get that third place spot in the AL West, and if not that, then let's at least avoid last place. So that's my goal. And I will see you all with my next bit of news. Also, Matzek's doing well, so that's nice too. All right, today is the day of roster expansion. Roster expansion's not what it used to be. It used to be that you could open up your active roster up to like 40 players. They've changed that up in real life MLB. So now we have 2 more roster spots we can use. I know I'm going to use one on Nate Lowe because he just continues to rake at AAA, and it's just really confusing to me how he's just so bad at hitting in the majors. I mean, he truly has been the definition of a quadruple A player this year. He's too good for AAA, but he's not good enough for the majors. So we're going to bring him up, maybe give him a run of games. And then as far as who else I would want to bring up, Taylor Hearn could be one. Jake Brentz could be one. It's not going to be Brentz. He hasn't pitched well enough. Could bring up Hearn. He's been solid at AAA. Or you could bring up Wyatt Mills. That's another option. I think I'll go for, what about Calhoun? How's Calhoun hit at AAA? Calhoun's hit not so great at AAA. Okay. Who do we want to bring up? We should bring up a pitcher. I'm gonna bring up Hearn. So that's gonna be another reliever for us. And then I think what I'm gonna do is, Chris Davis has done about what you would expect him to do this year, right? His batting average is low 200s, but he's hit some home runs with some frequency. I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to have Nate Lowe. Oh, by the way, Zach Collins has started to do well at hitting major league level. I know these stats don't look great, but he had such an awful start in the majors the first time around with us that this has actually been a steady improvement. As you can see, reached base safely 3 times in his last game, so he looks good. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically have Nate Lowe take Chris Davis's spot in the order against right-handed pitching, and then Chris Davis can hit versus lefties, because the thing about Davis is his contract is over at the end of this year, and he's just not in our long-term plans, but he's done, well enough, I think, in our DH spot. He's been almost a league average hitter, which, considering how bad we've hit as a team, 668 OPS, it's hard to complain about that. So that's my roster update as of September 1st. September 17th now, we are eliminated officially, tied with the Mariners for third place in the AL West, 28 games behind Houston, but we did just take 3 of 4 against Houston, all really tight games, so hopefully we can finish the season strong. I would really like to finish ahead of Seattle, and Oakland is just a disaster, but if we could finish ahead of Seattle, that would make me feel a little bit better about how this season has gone, and it would give us something positive to look forward to going into the offseason. All right, last few games of the season here are going to be against Cleveland. We just won 5-0 against them. Another really good start from AJ Puk, who's been probably our best starting pitcher all year, especially with Kyle Gibson now gone. So 2 more games against Cleveland, and then our season will be over. So let's just go ahead and sim through day by day. First, we have to face Tristan McKenzie. We defeat him, so that gives us our 73rd win of the season, and then we face them one more time. And we lose an extra, so that's okay. 73-89 is our final record. That's about what I anticipated. You take a look at this team. Were we the worst hitting team? Yes, we were. By zone rating, we actually finished positive, so I was happy with that. We had the 5th best zone rating, so we did play 5th best defense in the American League, so that was good. Our bullpen ERA was also 5th, so that felt good as well. Let's look at team chemistry. It's ecstatic, so honestly, I feel like we accomplished our goals for the most part, and this team won 73 games, which I'm thinking is more than the actual Rangers will win this year. We'll see. We'll see how they end up doing, but 73, I feel like it's solid. Hopefully, it's enough to appease our owner, Ray Davis, in terms of the his goal of us not sucking completely. I hope 73-89 is good enough for not sucking completely. But yeah, so that's going to start the playoffs. Let's take a look at the standings. Washington won the NL East. Milwaukee, huge team, 103 wins. They won the Central. St. Louis grabbed a wild card spot. Dodgers, 112. Padres, imagine winning 104 games and having to play a 1-game wild card against the Cardinals, who, the Cardinals, when it gets to October, sometimes they summon that devil magic, so you don't want that. That's what the West is like, and when I said I was playing with the Rockies having a tough time, this was a big reason why, is these two just powerhouse teams. The Dodgers were 4 wins away from tying the record by the Mariners of 2001. In the AL, Houston ran away with it. Solid second place finish there for the Angels. White Sox won the Central. Twins wild card. Rays won the East. Blue Jays wild card. So no Yankees in the playoffs this year. So let's just go ahead and get to our playoff tree and just sort of enjoy the playoffs. Let's get it going. All right, so wild card games. Yep, just as I sort of predicted, the Cardinals take out the Padres. Padres 104 wins. You lose 1 game and you're out. That's life sometimes. Sometimes the St. Louis Cardinals are magic and they just take it to you and there's nothing you can do. All right, so they're going to move on. Let's see here in the American League, the Blue Jays win. And so that leads us to the division series and we're going to see what happens there. LA probably has to be the favorites, especially with Padres now out of the mix. LA won 112 games, so let's see if they can finish the job. If they do, they would be definitely in contention to be, the best team in MLB history. However, St. Louis has tied it up with them 2-2. Milwaukee's going to advance here. Tampa Bay's going to advance here. Milwaukee also won 103 games. Keep that in mind. They're a big team. So deciding match right here between the Cardinals and the Dodgers, and then Astros and Blue Jays coming up. Let's see who advances. So the Dodgers do survive. They were able to, hold off the Black Devil magic of the St. Louis Cardinals in October, and then Houston advances. So this is a really strong championship series right here between all these teams. All these teams are really good, and we'll see what happens. Milwaukee jumps off to a 2-0 lead against the Dodgers. Split series here in the AL. Ooh, Milwaukee up 3-0. This could be it. This could be the end of the Dodgers' run. They get a win, and yeah, Milwaukee advances. Milwaukee in 5 advanced to the World Series. Good for them. Tampa trying to hold off the Astros, and they do. So it's a Brewers and Rays World Series here. Very interesting. Let's just take a look at these teams real quick. So the Brewers, really good starting pitching from Wood, Burns, and Woodruff, and then Yelich has had a solid year for them, and looks like Alberto Monsi had a solid year for them. But yeah, this has been a team built around their pitching, and also their defense has been second best in the National League, so good for them. Tampa has been better offensively. Tampa also has a terrifying bullpen. Their bullpen ERA of 3.06, that's best in the American League. And who's hit well for them? So Randy's had, it looks like a solid season. He's had a 4 WAR season. And then Meadows has had a good season, 4.7 WAR. Wander Franco came up. He's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. He's been huge too. So they've had some big offensive performances. Even G-Man Choi, another really excellent year from him. So it's going to be an interesting World Series. These are 2 pretty solid teams. We're going to see what happens. Tampa takes Game 1, takes Game 2, takes Game 3. Milwaukee takes Game 4, so they stave off elimination for now. Milwaukee takes another one, and Tampa wins. So Tampa Bay Rays are your World Series champions. Rays in 6. Congratulations to them. That's going to end the 2021 season, and that's also going to end this episode. So hope you guys are still enjoying this OOTP content I'm bringing to y'all on Foolish Bailey, and I'll see you all for the offseason when we try to retool this team going into 2022. All right? Thank you guys so much for watching.